When Margaret turned 67, her friends rallied around her with a familiar suggestion: it's time to love again. They meant well. They told her she was still young, still vibrant, still had so much love to give. You shouldn't grow old alone, they said. So she tried. She opened her heart, met someone polite and attentive. He was kind, he listened, smiled at the right moments, even made her laugh. But slowly her days stopped feeling like hers. She began skipping her morning walks. He liked to sleep in. She stopped playing her favorite music while cooking. He said it was too distracting. She caught herself censoring what she wanted to say, not because he was cruel, but because she didn't want to upset the energy. Then one afternoon, sitting together in a silence that used to feel cozy but now felt hollow, she whispered something under her breath. I miss being alone. It wasn't that he was bad. It wasn't that the relationship was toxic, but it was costing her something unexpected. Herself. And at this stage in her life, that cost felt far too steep. We live in a world that constantly nudges people toward relationships, as if being single later in life is some kind of failure, some void to fix. But what if it's not? What if the most courageous, most loving thing you can do after 65 is to choose yourself every single day? What if it's not partnership but peace that keeps your soul awake? This video isn't about tearing down relationships. It's about honoring the quiet strength it takes to say, I'm okay on my own. It's about breaking the silence around late-life solitude and giving voice to those who've found healing in being single, not in between relationships, but as a destination all its own. Let's talk about 9 honest reasons why being single after 65 might be the healthiest, most freeing choice you'll ever make. And reason number 9, it's something almost no one says out loud, but you might have felt it for years. Let's begin. Reason 1, peace is everything now. There's a kind of peace that doesn't come with celebration or big announcements. It slips into your life softly. Early mornings without pressure, days without drama, the gentle rhythm of being exactly where you want to be, without explanation. And the older you get, the more sacred that peace becomes. In your younger years, you could bounce back faster. An argument wouldn't rattle your sleep. A stressful day could be shrugged off. But past 65, your body holds on to tension. It lingers in your breath, your heartbeat, your blood pressure. You begin to realize that emotional noise isn't just annoying, it's exhausting. Take Evelyn, for example. At 72, she gave dating another shot. She met a man at her book club, charming, intelligent, funny. They shared playlists, sipped coffee at cafes, even went to lectures together. But soon she noticed small things building up. He was overly sensitive, took offense at jokes, needed constant reassurance. She started overthinking everything, rewriting her texts, rehearsing phone calls, watching her words. Her sleep suffered, her chest felt heavy. Until one evening, after canceling a dinner date just to stay home in silence, something clicked. She hadn't been craving romance. She'd been craving peace. And that realization didn't crash into her. It drifted in, like a breeze through a cracked window. It wasn't that she missed companionship. She missed her calm, the kind of calm that doesn't require you to shrink yourself to keep someone else comfortable. At this stage, peace isn't optional. It's essential. And choosing to remain single isn't about building walls. It's about preserving your health, your energy, your clarity. It's about saying, I've lived through storms, I'm done inviting them in. You can still love people, still connect, still enjoy companionship, but you get to draw the line when someone else starts disrupting your stillness. That line, it's not selfish, it's sacred. Because once you've known real peace, no relationship is worth giving it up. Reason 2, you're done being the caregiver. Here's a quiet truth many carry as they age. They're tired, not just in their bones, but in their spirit. Tired from decades of giving, fixing, carrying, nurturing. And while love still matters, of course it does, the idea of being responsible for someone else's health, emotions, or day-to-day life again, it's just too much. You've already done it. You've been the strong one, the one who wiped the tears, sat through doctor visits, carried the emotional weight, ran the errands, stayed by the hospital bed. You've already been the rock. And now, you want rest. You want your time to be yours again. That's what happened to Roger. He met Denise at a local music group. She was bright, kind, curious. They clicked, and before long they were spending most days together. But her health began to fade, slowly at first, then more. Appointments stacked up. She needed more help. And Roger, ever the gentleman, stepped up. He took her to doctors, helped with errands, sat beside her during long waits. But in doing so, he quietly put away parts of himself. He stopped painting, skipped his morning walks, forgot to check in with how he felt. Then one afternoon, sitting in a crowded clinic waiting room, he looked around. Caregivers lined the chairs, silent, worn down, and something inside him broke. He hadn't asked for this. He hadn't even asked himself if he was ready for this. It's not about blame, it's about boundaries. At this age, your emotional bandwidth isn't limitless. You don't owe your final years to anyone else's needs. You're allowed to want peace over obligation, freedom over responsibility. That doesn't make you cold. It means you finally realize that your well-being matters just as much as anyone else's. So if this speaks to you, drop a 2 in the comments. Let's see how many of us are ready to stop carrying everyone else's world so we can finally carry our own. Reason 3. Freedom feels sacred now. Freedom at this age doesn't feel like rebellion. It's not about ignoring rules or making dramatic exits. It's much quieter and much more profound. It's waking up when your body says it's ready, eating what you want when you want, going through a day with no explanations, choosing silence or company as you please. Freedom now feels sacred. That's what Walter 73 discovered. He had plans for retirement, big beautiful ones, train trips across the country, painting near the ocean, unstructured days guided only by his mood. Then he met someone. She was kind, soft-spoken, routine-loving, and at first it felt good, but slowly his suitcase collected dust. His calendar filled with together time. His solo adventures turned into polite negotiations. And he realized this isn't freedom. This is compromise, wearing a friendly face. He wasn't escaping her. He was longing to return to himself, to the version of himself that didn't ask permission, that didn't explain why he wanted to eat late, or nap at noon, or skip a holiday gathering. Staying single now isn't about being anti-love. It's about being pro-you. You've spent decades adjusting for others. Now every little decision that honors your rhythm, your joy, is gold. And you don't have to sacrifice it unless you truly want to. Because freedom, after everything you've lived through, isn't a privilege. It's the prize. Reason 4. Your home has become your sanctuary. With time, home transforms from a physical shelter into something deeper. It's not just a roof and 4 walls anymore. It's a mirror, reflecting your energy, your rhythm, your life. Every corner carries your stories. The chair by the window becomes more than a seat. It's a place where you sip your tea, listen to the breeze, and breathe freely. The way your shoes rest by the door, how the kitchen smells when you make your favorite dish, the specific drawer you reach into without looking. All of that matters. It grounds you, and after 65, that grounding becomes sacred. Louise, 70, knew this well. After living alone for over 10 years, she finally decided to let love in again. At first it was lovely, a toothbrush here, a few groceries there. Then it was drawers, towels, socks, background noise, preferences. And slowly, without malice, her home no longer felt like hers. He liked the TV louder, rearranged her spice rack, preferred the blinds open, even when the morning sun hurt her eyes. He never meant to take space from her, but he did. And one night, standing in the hallway where she'd once danced alone in fuzzy socks, she felt like a stranger in her own house. That's when it hit her. It's not about whether someone is good or bad. It's about whether your peace survives their presence. After 65, compromise can start to feel like loss. You're not interested in changing your home's rhythm to match someone else's anymore. You've spent years creating an environment that supports your well-being. Staying single means preserving that sacred space. It means waking up and moving through your house like a gentle breeze, with no need to ask, "Do you mind?" It means cooking what you like, playing music as loud or as soft as you please. It's silence when you crave it, energy when you choose it, peace always within reach. Because your home now is not just where you live, it's where you remember who you are. And the right relationship, if one ever appears, should feel like peace stepping in, not like your world rearranged to make space for someone else's habits. Reason 5. You refuse to settle out of fear. Fear doesn't always wear a warning label. Sometimes it sounds rational. It whispers things like, "You're not getting any younger," or "Don't be so picky." And slowly you start to believe that choosing solitude means missing out. But settling is far more dangerous than being alone. That's what Barbara, 69, discovered. She had lived a decade on her own. Her days had rhythm, little joys like reading in bed or long Sunday walks. She had found quiet confidence in the simplicity of her life. But then the holidays rolled in. Her neighbors paired off. Family dinners got quieter. Invitations slowed down. So when a kind, steady man came along, she said yes. He wasn't exciting, but he was safe. He didn't challenge her, didn't hurt her, but he also didn't see her. He didn't laugh at her jokes, didn't understand her stories, never made her feel deeply connected. 6 months in, she realized something heartbreaking. She felt lonelier inside the relationship than she ever had outside of one. That's what fear does. It paints compromise as security. It tricks you into thinking that any warmth is better than none. But deep down, you know, half-hearted love doesn't soothe fear. It feeds it. Choosing to stay single isn't about arrogance or stubbornness. It's about trusting that your energy is too sacred to give away lightly. That your days, your laughter, your presence, these are precious and they belong to you first. You don't need someone to complete you. You need people who honor your completeness. Because the most painful loneliness, it's not solitude. It's being with someone who makes you feel unseen in your own skin. Reason 6, you've outgrown the fairy tale. Remember when love felt like the grand prize? The way movies told us that if you were good enough, kind enough, patient enough, eventually someone would arrive and make everything whole. We believed it, we waited for it. Some of us even found it, only to realize that love doesn't always look like fireworks. Sometimes it looks like small routines. Sometimes it doesn't save you. Sometimes it breaks you. And eventually, if you're lucky, you stop chasing the fantasy. You stop asking love to feel like a movie. You start asking yourself, how do I feel when I'm alone? That's what Eleanor, 72, discovered. Twice married, family raised, heartbreak survived, she'd lived a full emotional life. One quiet afternoon, sitting on her back porch with a mug of tea, and no one around, she felt something unfamiliar. Peace, no butterflies. No dramatic music. Just quiet, steady peace. And for the first time in her life, she didn't crave more. You see, staying single after 65 isn't about giving up on love. It's about rewriting what love means. It's no longer about someone completing your sentence. It's about knowing you've written enough of your own. Your life has value even if no one else is there to witness it. Your story matters even if it's written in solo chapters. And if love does show up again, it should add to your peace, not challenge it in the name of romance. Reason 7, joy is the priority, not obligation. Most of us grew up doing what we were supposed to do. We made the phone calls, we showed up to the dinners, we kept the family traditions alive, even when they drained us. We were polite, we said yes more often than we wanted. We gave more than we had. Joy was the occasional visitor, not the resident. But something shifts with age. You stop living to please. You start living to feel. That's what happened to Helen, 71. Her calendar used to be full, lunches with neighbors, errands for relatives, small group meetings she didn't even enjoy. Then one afternoon, after hosting yet another exhausting visit, she sat at her kitchen table and thought, why am I still doing this? She didn't have a good answer, so she stopped. She started saying no, declined invitations, cleared her weekends, and then something beautiful happened. Joy trickled back in. She smiled more, laughed without forcing it, found peace in mornings that weren't scheduled down to the minute. When you're single, joy doesn't have to be negotiated. You don't need a reason to rest. You don't need approval to cancel plans. You get to choose every time what brings you light, and you get to make room for that light to grow without apology. Because after 65, joy isn't a reward, it's the requirement. And when you stop bending to everyone else's expectations, something unexpected happens. You bloom. Reason 8, you're done explaining yourself. There comes a time when you're not tired of people, you're just tired of explaining yourself to them. Tired of clarifying why you live the way you do? Tired of softening your opinions to make others comfortable? Tired of justifying the quiet, the joy, the calm you fought hard to protect? Nora, 74, had always been a quiet soul. She liked her routines, she enjoyed silence. She preferred solo walks to dinner parties and found joy in the simplest things. Watering her plants, reading at dawn, baking small loaves of bread just for herself. Then she began seeing someone. He wasn't unkind, just curious, but his curiosity chipped away at her peace. Why don't you call your daughter more often? Why do you like being alone so much? Don't you ever get bored? They were innocent questions, but to Nora they felt like tiny invasions. Like little reminders that she was being watched, interpreted, measured. And one day, after cutting her morning walk short just to answer a call she hadn't even wanted to take, she realized she wasn't tired of being misunderstood. She was tired of feeling like she needed to be understood at all. Staying single at this stage gives you that gift, the gift of simply being. You don't have to explain why you want to eat alone tonight, or why you'd rather stay home than attend a social event. You don't have to justify why you go to bed at 8, or why you stay up until 2 with your favorite book. You just do what feels right, because it is right for you. And the people who love you now, the real ones, they won't need a reason. They'll smile and say, I get it. Or better yet, they'll say nothing at all, because silence in this season of life is no longer awkward. It's sacred. Reason 9, you're not afraid of being alone, you're afraid of losing yourself again. This is the truth almost no one says out loud. People assume that those who stay single after 65 are afraid of being alone. But more often than not, the opposite is true. You're not afraid of solitude, you're afraid of losing yourself again. Clarissa, 68, knew that feeling too well. She had been married once, partnered again in her 50s, and had convinced herself over and over that relationships were worth the trade-offs. But now, standing barefoot in her quiet kitchen, the morning sun spilling across the floor, she felt something she hadn't in decades. Wholeness. Not the kind you post about. Not perfection, just a deep, quiet knowing that no one was asking her to shrink. No one was requiring her to silence her thoughts, filter her personality, or fold her schedule around someone else's mood. She wasn't lonely, she was free. That's what few people understand. Even a healthy relationship can slowly ask you to give away pieces of yourself. You stop playing music out loud, you eat what they prefer, You stay in when you'd rather go out or vice versa. You start second-guessing your choices, and before you know it, you're living a life that fits someone else better than it fits you. Choosing to remain single after 65 is not a rejection of love. It's a celebration of self. It's the beautiful moment when you realize, if love requires you to disappear, it isn't love, it's a transaction. And you've lived too long, grown too wise, and given too much to exchange your peace for a little company. You're not afraid of solitude, you're afraid of forgetting the sound of your own voice again. And now that you've found it steady, strong, and soft, you'll do anything to protect it. Final thoughts. So there it is. 9 honest, powerful, quietly radical reasons to stay single after 65. Maybe one of them felt like your story. Maybe all of them did. Maybe you felt the cost of being someone else's caregiver, the ache of compromising your freedom, or the loneliness that sometimes worsens inside a relationship. Or maybe you're just beginning to hear a voice inside yourself, one that says, I love this quiet, I love this peace. If that voice is growing louder, you are not broken. You're not bitter, you're not missing out, you're waking up. You're rediscovering the most important relationship of all, the one you have with yourself. The version of you who dances in the kitchen without an audience, who makes tea just the way you like it, who smiles into silence, not because you're waiting for something, but because you're finally home in your own life. This isn't about rejecting love, it's about redefining it. Love can still come. It might surprise you, but if it does, let it arrive like calm, not chaos. Let it fit into your world, not rearrange it. Let it be gentle, kind, additive, not invasive. And if it never comes again, that's okay too. Because the life you've created now, this clarity, this comfort, this inner steadiness, it's not a pause between relationships. It's not a waiting room, it's the destination. If anything in this message spoke to you, brought you comfort, or helped you feel less alone, click the like button. And if there's someone you know who might need this message today, please share it with them. We're building something here, a place where solitude is sacred, where truth is welcome, where aging is seen as a return to self, not a loss. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe. We share stories like this every week for those who are aging with heart, honesty, and intention. Leave a comment and tell us which reason resonated most, or just type peace if that's what you found more of lately. Until next time, may your mornings be quiet, your heart stay strong, and your life remain fully beautifully yours.